their technical aspects, I always think in yards. So, this piece is made out of a football field's length worth of fabric, cut into about 6,000 strips of fabric. I'm really thankful to everyone who helped me cut and cut and cut and cut, and tie and tie and tie and tie, including my college small group and some other students and family and friends. Each wing weighs 30 pounds, and for me it's a huge step forward in my art practice as far as doing installation work. I've never done something suspended from the rafters and something that's three-dimensional. The piece is called In the Shadow, so I'm going to transition into kind of like the meaning behind the piece. I've always wanted to do wings out of this material. The first image that I feel like God showed me would be to do wings that are red and gray, having to do with emotional health and mental health, and having the fabric be knotted on the edges, and as they come towards the center, be more loose. That project is still out there, and I thought that's what I was going to make. But I was sitting at a worship service, and the pastor at this particular one started quoting the scripture, and it hit me that I needed to do the wings of God. Following Sunday, Pastor Rick gets up to share about recovery efforts that Saddleback is doing in the face of all these disasters and racial tensions and things, and he quotes one of the Psalms I was studying, and so when God says something to me twice through similar scriptures, I like to pay attention. And so the title of this piece, In the Shadow, comes from about 7 to 8 passages in the Psalms and in Isaiah. And so a lot of people might interpret these as angel wings, and I'm okay with that. But when I read scripture, I don't see it talking about angel wings. I see it talking about God's wings. And in God's wings, we find refuge. We find rest. It says those who dwell, literally dwell, live in the shadow of the Almighty, find refuge and rest. It talks about singing, learning to sing in the shadow of God's wings. And it talks about being hidden in the hand of God, concealed in his shadow, and being sharpened like an arrow and like a quiver, like an arrow in a quiver, which to me speaks of like when you're in this area, when you're in the eye of the hurricane, when you're up against a wall of water, when all you can see from the outside is gray and dark, and you might want to enter in. On the inside, God can teach you. He can prepare you for what's next. And he can show you that there's hope and beauty in the shadow of his wings.
Yeah.
Thank you.